Let's get one thing straight right now. The word vanilla has become shorthand for boring, plain, or uninspired. It's the default setting, the beige of the flavor world. I'm here to tell you that this is a culinary crime of epic proportions. To call vanilla plain is to misunderstand one of the most complex, luxurious, and downright fascinating ingredients on the planet. Real vanilla isn't just a flavor, it's an experience. A symphony of over 250 different aromatic compounds that dance together to create something woody, floral, creamy, and spicy all at once. Calling it plain is like calling a diamond just a rock. It's a profound failure of imagination and appreciation. The problem, you see, isn't with vanilla itself, but with our modern, rushed, and often artificial relationship with it. We've been conditioned by decades of cheap imitation products to expect a one-note sugary sweetness. That pale, uninteresting flavor you find in bargain bin sodas or waxy birthday candles has nothing to do with the real deal. True vanilla is a story of patience, risk, and incredible botanical artistry. It's a spice so precious that, by weight, it's often more expensive than silver. So the next time you're tempted to dismiss something as just vanilla, I want you to stop and think about the journey we're about to take. It's a wild ride. So where does this magical ingredient come from? Not from a factory vat, at least not originally. Vanilla comes from the fruit of an orchid, specifically the Vanilla planifolia orchid. Yes, that's right, an orchid. It's the only edible fruit-bearing member of the entire orchid family, which boasts over 28,000 species. This isn't your average houseplant. It's a fussy climbing vine that needs a very specific tropical climate to thrive, hot, humid, and with just the right amount of shade. The plant itself takes 3 to 4 years just to mature enough to produce its first flower. This isn't fast food. It's slow, deliberate, and incredibly demanding. This plant's entire existence is a lesson in patience and precision. The flowers themselves are beautiful, trumpet-shaped blossoms that are as fleeting as they are lovely. Each flower opens for just one day, sometimes for only a few hours. If it's not pollinated within that tiny window, the flower wilts, falls off the vine, and that's it. No vanilla bean for you. This incredibly short-lived bloom is the key to understanding why vanilla has always been so rare and treasured. It's a botanical diva that demands perfect timing and a whole lot of luck, or as we'll soon see, a very clever human hand. For centuries, the vanilla orchid held its secret close. Native to what is now Mexico, the Totonac people were the first to cultivate it, using the beans to flavor their chocolate-based drinks. They knew the secret, or rather, they lived where the secret lived. The vanilla orchid could only be pollinated by one specific creature, the Melipona bee, a tiny, stingless bee native to that region. This bee was the only one capable of navigating the flower's complex anatomy to transfer the pollen. This exclusive relationship meant that for a long, long time, vanilla could only be grown commercially in Mexico. The Spanish conquistadors brought it back to Europe, where it became an instant sensation among the aristocracy, but they couldn't figure out how to make it grow fruit anywhere else. Botanists across Europe were stumped. They could grow the vanilla vines in their fancy greenhouses, and the vines would even produce their beautiful, fleeting flowers. But without the Melipona bee, the flowers would simply bloom and die, never producing the coveted pods. They tried everything, but the flower's anatomy was just too tricky. A small flap of tissue called the rostellum physically separated the male part, the anther, from the female part, the stigma, preventing self-pollination. For nearly 300 years, Mexico held a complete monopoly on vanilla production. The world wanted more, but the orchid and its tiny bee partner wouldn't cooperate. Then, in 1841, on the French island of Reunion in the Indian Ocean, everything changed. The breakthrough didn't come from a seasoned botanist in a lab coat, but from a 12-year-old boy named Edmund Albus. Albus, who was enslaved on a plantation, was known for his keen interest in plants. One day, he showed his owner a vanilla vine bearing fruit, something previously thought impossible on the island. When asked how he did it, he demonstrated his simple yet revolutionary technique. Using a thin sliver of bamboo or a blade of grass, he carefully lifted the rostellum, and then, with his thumb, pressed the pollen-filled anther against the stigma. This was it, the manual key to unlocking the orchid's secret. Edmund Albus's discovery of hand pollination was a world-changing event. Suddenly, vanilla could be cultivated anywhere with the right climate. His technique was so effective and so simple that it's still the exact same method used by vanilla farmers all over the world today. It's a testament to incredible observation and ingenuity. This single, brilliant act of discovery broke the Mexican monopoly and paved the way for vanilla to become a global spice, forever changing the fate of this remarkable orchid and the economies of entire nations. It's a story that deserves to be told far more often. Thanks to Edmond Albus's method, the French were able to introduce vanilla cultivation to their other tropical colonies, most notably a large island off the coast of Southeast Africa, Madagascar. The island's climate turned out to be absolutely perfect for the fussy vanilla orchid. With a large and willing labor force to perform the painstaking work of hand pollination, Madagascar quickly became the world's vanilla powerhouse. Today, the island nation produces around 80% of the entire global supply of real vanilla. The industry is the lifeblood of the nation's economy, supporting tens of thousands of small-scale farmers whose livelihoods depend entirely on this one crop. But let's be clear, growing vanilla is not for the faint of heart. After the flower is successfully hand-pollinated, the farmer's work has only just begun. The green bean, or pod, takes about 9 months to grow to its full length on the vine. But you can't just pick it. It has to be harvested at the precise moment of ripeness, a skill that takes experience to master. Pick it too early, and the vanillin content, the primary flavor compound, will be too low. Pick it too late and the bean will split on the vine, ruining its value. This is a crop that demands constant attention and expert judgment from start to finish. Once the beans are harvested, they have no taste or smell. Zero. The characteristic vanilla flavor we know and love is developed through a long and laborious curing process that can take several months. First, the beans are blanched in hot water to stop them from ripening further. Then begins a cycle of sweating and sunning. The beans are wrapped in woolen blankets and stored in airtight boxes overnight to stay warm and sweat. The next day, they are laid out in the sun for a few hours. This process is repeated every single day for weeks, sometimes months. It is during the slow drying and fermentation that enzymes break down the compounds in the bean, creating the rich, complex aroma of true vanilla. After the sun-drying phase, the beans are moved indoors and spread out on racks in well-ventilated warehouses to cure slowly for another few months. During this time, they are sorted and graded by hand based on length, moisture content, and appearance. The entire process, from pollination to the final graded bean, is done by hand. It's an incredibly labor-intensive, time-consuming, and skilled craft. This immense amount of human effort is a huge factor in why real vanilla is the second most expensive spice in the world, right after saffron. There are no shortcuts to quality. Now, you might be thinking, if real vanilla is so hard to produce, why is vanilla flavoring so cheap and common? An excellent question. The answer lies in a laboratory. Over 95% of the vanilla flavor used in products worldwide is not from a bean, but is synthetic vanillin. In the late 19th century, scientists figured out how to create vanillin from various sources, including eugenol, which is found in clove oil, lignin, a byproduct of the paper industry, and even petrochemicals. This synthetic vanillin provides that basic, sweet, one-dimensional vanilla note, and it can be produced for a tiny fraction of the cost of the real thing. It's the reason vanilla ice cream can be both a gourmet delicacy and a cheap commodity. The difference between the two is staggering. While synthetic vanillin is just one molecule, real vanilla extract contains hundreds of distinct aromatic compounds that contribute to its incredibly deep and nuanced flavor profile. Think of it this way. Synthetic vanillin is like a single note played on a keyboard, while real vanilla is a full orchestra playing a complex symphony. One is simple and predictable. The other is rich, layered, and full of surprises. Once you've tasted the complexity of true vanilla, the imitation stuff just tastes hollow and cloying by comparison. But because it's so cheap, the imposter reigns supreme in the mass market. Unfortunately, the farmers growing the real thing face more challenges than just competition from a chemical factory. Climate change is posing an existential threat to vanilla cultivation, especially in Madagascar. The delicate balance of sun and rain that the vanilla orchid needs is being thrown into chaos. More extreme weather events, like the powerful cyclones that frequently batter the island, can wipe out entire crops in a matter of hours, destroying the vines that took years to mature. Shifting weather patterns also bring longer droughts and more unpredictable rainfall, stressing the plants and making them more susceptible to disease. These climate challenges create massive instability in the vanilla market. A bad storm in Madagascar can cause the global price of vanilla to skyrocket overnight, creating a volatile boom-and-bust cycle that is devastating for the farmers who depend on it. This price volatility, combined with the immense pressure from cheap synthetic alternatives, puts the entire future of natural vanilla at risk. Farmers are caught in a difficult position, facing greater risks for a product that is constantly being undercut. The Queen of Spices is in a precarious situation. Faced with these daunting challenges, there is a glimmer of hope, and much of it shines from vanilla's original birthplace, Mexico. Here, conservationists and scientists are working to protect the future of this incredible plant. In the state of Veracruz, efforts are underway to preserve the last remaining wild populations of Vanilla planifolia. This is critically important because these wild vines hold a treasure trove of genetic diversity. Unlike the monocultures grown in Madagascar, which are genetically very similar, these wild plants possess different traits. Some might be more resistant to drought, others more resilient to certain diseases. Protecting this genetic library is like backing up a critical computer file. It could be essential for the future survival of the species. Science is also playing a crucial role in finding solutions. Researchers are working to develop hardier vanilla varieties by crossbreeding commercial plants with their wild relatives. The goal is to create new cultivars that can better withstand the pressures of a changing climate. Furthermore, scientists are establishing vanilla gene banks, carefully preserving the genetic material of different vanilla species from around the world. These banks act as a botanical insurance policy, safeguarding diversity so that future generations will still have access to the full spectrum of vanilla's potential, ensuring the orchid doesn't just survive, but thrives. These efforts are not just about preserving a plant. They are about preserving a culture, an economy, and a vital piece of our global culinary heritage. The story of vanilla is a powerful reminder that the ingredients we often take for granted are deeply connected to the health of our planet and the well-being of the people who grow them. The future of vanilla depends on a conscious effort from all of us, from the scientists developing resilient crops to the companies that choose to pay a fair price for sustainably grown beans, and even to us, the consumers. So, the next time you enjoy the rich, complex flavor of a real vanilla bean in your ice cream or creme brulee, take a moment to appreciate the journey it took to get to you. Think of the orchid, the patient farmer, the hand pollination, and the months of curing. Let's change the narrative. Vanilla is not boring. It is a symbol of patience, of human ingenuity, and of a delicate natural world that is worth protecting. By understanding its story and supporting the people who grow it, we can help ensure that the true Queen of Spices continues to grace our kitchens for centuries to come.